Hi, this is Ronnie from Awesome Terrariums. Let's make a miniature Zen garden using preserved moss inside this used food container. This is what it will look like when done. Preserved moss does not require light, water or any sort of plant care and will last years if kept well. We'll be making our Zen garden using the Bikin Sendiri DIY kit, Preserved Moss Edition. The kit comes with figurine, skewer, spoon, tweezers, gloves and white sand, gravel, dried sphagnum moss and soil, stones and varieties of preserved moss. You can use any container that's about 3 cm deep, as well as bowls and trays. There are enough materials in our kit to make 2 to 4 Zen gardens, so get creative using objects around the house. You can even arrange preserved moss as terrariums using materials from our kit. Let's start. It's a good idea to work with gloves as preserved moss can leave a slight oily residue. This comes from the preservation process and is non-toxic. First we lay down 1 cm of gravel. Then we cover that gravel with a thin layer of dry sphagnum moss. Next, we cover that layer of moss with about 1 cm of soil. This layering is called a false bottom, a common terrarium making technique that allows excess water to drain out. In our case, we are just making it as a decorative feature to add some realism to using preserved plants. Next, we can start the arrangement with the hardscape, which are non-plant elements like rocks and wood. Rocks are prominent features in Zen gardens, so give some consideration to their placement. But don't think too hard, enjoy the process. Next, I will place some moss next to my rock. Zen gardens are abstract representations of nature. Rocks can be mountains and moss can be a forest. So in my mind, I'm making a mountain surrounded by lush forest. Next, I'll start a smaller clump of moss at the opposite side of the container. It will be a smaller mountain forest. Having repeating motifs but of different sizes can be visually interesting. Notice how I'm placing my stones vertically. This allows them to look taller, adding height and depth to the arrangement. Now I'm working with a different kind of moss. This one is longer and fluffier and will be used to add more height and as a kind of backdrop. Use tweezers to help arrange loose strands into place. Here's a third kind of moss, which is a carpeting kind. Notice I'm creating an informal front view for my arrangement, which is the side that the arrangement is best viewed from. If you like a challenge, try making an arrangement that looks good from all angles. When making real Zen gardens, designers spend a lot of time considering how arrangements appear from multiple points. Japanese Zen gardens are usually extensions of temples and serve as tranquil spaces to encourage inward contemplation. Their designs reflect Shinto Buddhism's veneration for the natural world, and gardens are regarded as places where nature spirits reside. When making my mini Zen gardens, I try to evoke a similar calming landscape. It's not too difficult as moss is already calming to look at. Next, we apply top dressing, spreading gravel and sand over exposed soil. This is actually an important element of Zen gardens. Flat open areas feature prominently to evoke a sense of emptiness and distance. As abstractions of nature, these flat areas represent water. Now I'm sprinkling gravel over fine sand to create an interesting mix of textures. This is something I call softening, which is layering elements of different sizes to create depth and texture. I do this for plants as well to make them look grown in. It's a part of the process that requires patience, but it's more rewarding. Now we use a skewer to draw lines in the fine sand, just like in real Zen gardens where a rake is used to create waves on gravel, representing water flowing in a river or ocean. A few more pebbles and the landscape is done. When working with moss and stones, you may find stones looking engulfed by surrounding moss. Just remove the stone and fill the space below it with soil to help it get more height. Now our mountain is looking more epic. If space allows, place the theme-appropriate figurine somewhere in the landscape. This lantern and water fountain figurine represents a lantern and water fountain. They are common decorative pieces in real Zen gardens. To get even more height and variety, you can insert cuttings of preserved plants into the moss. We'll include some of these as a bonus inside the DIY kit. Our mini Zen garden is done. Here's how it looks like from various angles. Does it look calming to you? Here's a summary of preserved moss care. Never water preserved moss. Keep dry indoors and away from direct sunlight. So that is how to make a miniature Zen garden using preserved moss. I hope you guys enjoy watching the video and I look forward to what you guys might try. If you'd like to order a DIY kit, drop me a message. And if you'd like to help me make more of these videos, do consider supporting me on Patreon. I'm on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. Go like, follow and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And as always, until next time, keep planting. If you've made it this far into the video, congratulations and thanks for watching. Here is bonus content of making a second Zen garden with materials left over from our DIY kit. Each kit should have enough materials for 2 to 4 projects.